Mike Dunleavy's secret plan, the deal that could secure the Warriors dynasty. What's up, Warriors Nation? Welcome to Golden State Hoop, your go-to channel for the most in-depth analysis on our beloved San Francisco franchise. Before we dive into today's topic, be like our Splash Brother. Hit that 3, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any update. Today, I'm bringing you a bombshell that could completely transform our franchise. Internal sources within the organization have shared details about a deal that's being crafted behind the scenes, away from the spotlight and traditional media. And we're not talking about just any move. This is a strategic plan that could cement the Warriors' dominance for an entire decade. Get ready for a revelation that mixes ambition, financial strategy, and a game plan worthy of three-dimensional chess. Mike Dunleavy Jr., following in the footsteps of his predecessor, may be about to pull off his boldest move since taking over as GM. And no, I'm not going to make you wait until the end of the video. Let's get right to the point. We're talking about a multi-team trade involving an all-star center, complementary reinforcement, and a roster restructuring designed to maximize the potential of the already powerful Curry, Durant, Green, Butler core. Sounds impossible? That's what I thought, until I saw the numbers and understood the genius behind this plan. Before we get into the details of the potential trade, we need to understand where we stand. The Warriors are coming off a season full of ups and downs. Adding Jimmy Butler last summer transformed the team, bringing the competitive mentality and defensive intensity we needed. However, even with Butler's arrival, our elimination in the Western Conference semifinals against the Timberwolves exposed a critical weakness that still needs to be addressed. Our perimeter defense, with Butler, Green, and Durant, is elite. We're ranked third in the league in defensive efficiency. The problem is in the paint. When we go up against teams with dominant bigs like the Wolves, with Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns, our interior defense gets exposed. Statistically, we rank just 22nd in points allowed in the paint, a vulnerability that opponents consistently exploit. On the offensive end, our star quartet is simply devastating. Curry, Durant, Butler, and Green combine for an impressive average of 87.2 points per game, with a 60.8% true shooting percent. However, the lack of a center who can finish in the paint and protect the rim became glaringly obvious in the Minnesota series. And here's the central challenge. Our core is aging. Curry is 37, Durant is 36, Butler is 35, and Draymond is 35. The championship window won't stay open forever, and the dynasty's legacy is on the line. Internal sources reveal that after the elimination, a meeting between the four stars and management resulted in a clear consensus. We need a dominant center to maximize this title window. To understand the genius of the potential deal, we first need to grasp our financial landscape. Currently, the Warriors have about $198 million committed for next season, $53 million over the luxury tax line. The four main contracts eat up about 80% of our salary cap. Stephen Curry, $55.7 million, Kevin Durant, $51.2 million, Jimmy Butler, $46.4 million, Draymond Green, $25.8 million. That's without counting Andrew Wiggins' $18.6 million, whose inconsistent performance has frustrated both fans and management. And here's the first puzzle piece. According to my sources, Wiggins is on the trade table as the primary asset to make a deal for an elite center possible. Another crucial factor, the new CBA, collective bargaining agreement, has implemented even harsher penalties for teams above the second apron. To put the severity into context, last season the Warriors paid about $210 million in luxury taxes, more than the total payroll of 15 other NBA franchises. Joe Lacob, despite his willingness to spend, has made it clear in internal talks that this model isn't sustainable long-term, especially with the new roster-building restrictions for teams above the second apron. The equation is clear. We need to add a dominant center without significantly increasing our already astronomical payroll. Sounds impossible, right? That's where the genius of the plan I'm about to reveal comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, after speaking with 3 separate sources inside the organization, I can finally share the details of the plan being crafted behind the scenes. We're talking about a multi-team trade that could complete the Warriors' puzzle. The central plan revolves around bringing Jarrett Allen to the Warriors. Yes, you heard that right. Jarrett Allen, the all-star center from the Cleveland Cavaliers, the player who embodies exactly what's missing on our roster: an elite rim protector, dominant rebounder, and efficient finisher in the paint. the final piece that could turn our star quartet into an unbeatable starting five. But how would this be possible, given our salary situation? Here's the plan. Three-team trade between Warriors, Cavaliers, and King. Warriors send Jonathan Kuminga, 8.1 plus 2026. First-round pick. Cavaliers Moses Moody, 5.8 meters plus 2025 second-round pick. Kings Cavaliers send Jarrett Allen, 20.0 m. Warriors Karis LeVert, 15.7 mm, expiring contract. Kings send Harrison Barnes, 18.0 m. Warriors Davion Mitchell, 5.1 mm. Cavalier. This structure works financially under NBA rule, and more importantly, it benefits all teams involved. For the Cavaliers, it's a chance to retool their core. With Evan Mobley emerging as their center of the future, Cleveland gets a younger Wiggins, 29, a high-potential prospect in Kuminga, 21, a solid perimeter defender in Mitchell, and future draft capital. For the King, it's an opportunity to acquire a veteran guard on an expiring deal in LeVert, open up future cap space, and add a young talent in Moses Moody who fits perfectly with Fox and Sabonis's development timeline. For us, the Warriors, we land the dominant center we need in Allen, keep our star core of Curry, Durant, Butler, Green intact, and even bring back Harrison Barnes, a familiar face who adds depth, experience, and perimeter spacing. The cherry on top? This move actually decreases our payroll by about $4.7 million, giving us a little more breathing room under the second apron. It partially restores our ability to use salary exceptions and maintain some flexibility in the free agent market. But what about on the court? How would Allen fit with our core? This is the most exciting part. Jarrett Allen brings exactly what we need most: consistent rim protection, dominant rebounding, efficient finishing, and athleticism that would completely change our team dynamic. In Cleveland, Allen averaged 16.5 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game on an impressive 67% shooting. Defensively, Allen's addition would be transformative. We currently struggle against teams with dominant interior presence. With Allen protecting the rim, our already elite perimeter defense with Butler, Durant, and Green could be even more aggressive, knowing there's a reliable safety net on the back line. In advanced metrics, Allen ranks in the top 5 in defensive FG% in the restricted area, exactly where we struggle most. On offense, our spacing would remain intact, and we'd gain a vertical dimension we currently lack. Allen is one of the league's best pick-and-roll finishers, scoring 1.46 points per possession as a roll man. Just imagine the possibilities with Curry, Durant, and Butler as ball handler. Harrison Barnes's return also can't be underestimated. His ability to space the floor, 38.7% from 3 last season, and his familiarity with the Warriors system would provide depth and versatility. In lineups with Durant at power forward, Barnes could be used as a small forward in bigger lineups, or even as a luxury backup to maintain quality when the stars rest. Allen's presence would also allow Draymond Green to play more in his natural power forward role. Green has often been forced to play center in many lineups, which has taken a toll on his 35-year-old body. With Allen taking on that responsibility, Green could focus on what he does best: defending multiple positions, making plays, and serving as the team's tactical maestro. With Butler already integrated into our culture since last season, the focus now would be on how Allen would complement this established dynamic, and the news is extremely positive in that regard. Allen has a reputation as a consummate professional, with no history of locker room issues or ego problems. Sources close to the situation say his team-first mentality and impressive work ethic would fit perfectly with the Warriors' culture. In fact, according to exclusive information, Jimmy Butler has been one of the strongest advocates for Allen's potential arrival. During the post-season meeting with management, Butler reportedly emphasized the need for someone who can protect us in the paint and isn't afraid to do the dirty work down low. Draymond Green, always vocal about roster construction, is also said to have strongly approved of the idea. A source revealed that Green commented, "Allen has the kind of mindset we need. He doesn't demand touches, protects the rim, and does whatever the team needs without complaining." Both Curry and Durant have expressed interest in finally having an athletic, reliable big man who can protect the rim and finish lob. Durant, in particular, played briefly with Allen in Brooklyn and is said to have shared positive impressions of his work ethic and ability to fit into a multi-star lineup. Steve Kerr, a master at integrating different personalities, is reportedly already developing new offensive packages to maximize Allen's presence in the paint. A source revealed that Kerr sees Allen as the ideal center to complement our style of play. Athletic enough to switch on defense when needed, but with the size to protect the rim. Obviously, negotiations of this magnitude are complex and may fall through for numerous reasons. That's why the Warriors front office has alternative options under consideration. The Plan B would involve a less ambitious approach, focusing on acquiring Jonas Valanciunas from the Pelicans. This deal would be simpler, essentially, involving Wiggins and a first-round pick, but it wouldn't bring the same transformative defensive impact that Allen would provide. Another possibility being discussed in the halls of Chase Center is a move for Miles Turner from the Pacers. This option would maintain the element of rim protection and add offensive spacing with Turner's three-point shooting, but it would require including Jonathan Kuminga, a young player the franchise is still hesitant to trade. When we look at the projected impact on the team's net rating, addition of Allen plus 5.3 points per 100 possession, addition of Valanciunas plus 2.8 points per 100 possession, addition of Turner plus 3.6 points per 100 possession. So when could all this happen? According to my sources, the talks are in advanced stages but not yet finalized. The most likely window for an announcement would be right after the NBA draft, when teams typically finalize big deals. The Heat are in a delicate position. After another early playoff exit, the pressure to shake up the roster has intensified. Pat Riley, known for his cold-blooded decision-making, is reportedly becoming increasingly convinced that the current cycle has run its course. On the Hornets' side, the recent change in the front office has ushered in a new philosophy centered on a full rebuild. The opportunity to unload heavy contracts like Hayward's aligns with that vision. For the Warriors, the window is now. With Curry still playing at an MVP level, he finished third in voting, Durant producing historically efficient numbers, and Green maintaining his defensive excellence, adding Butler could be the move that guarantees 2 to 3 more years of legitimate contention. An important detail: Butler has a player option for 2025 to 26, which means he could become a free agent after just one season with the Warriors. This adds an element of urgency and an all-in feel to the situation, but it also offers financial flexibility if the experiment doesn't work as hoped. The first reactions to these rumors are already circulating within NBA circles. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski posted yesterday, Western Conference teams are closely monitoring unusual activity between the Warriors and Heat. Something big may be brewing. Draymond Green, on his podcast, made a cryptic statement that's gained new interpretations in light of this information. Sometimes you need to add a little Miami Heat to any organization's culture. That fire, that passion. Charles Barkley, usually critical of the Warriors, surprisingly endorsed the idea during an appearance on Inside the NBA. If they can get Butler without sacrificing Green, the Warriors instantly go back to the top of the favorites list. Butler is exactly what they need, someone who's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Former Butler teammates have also weighed in on the possibility. Joel Embiid commented, "Jimmy would take any team to the next level. In Philly, we were one lucky bounce away from possibly making the finals with him. His mentality is unmatched." Folks, we're potentially on the verge of one of the most impactful trades in recent Warriors history. Butler would bring that grit, determination, and offensive creation that's been missing to complement our core. The plan is ambitious but calculated, financially viable, tactically logical, and with the potential to extend our dynasty for a few more precious years. Of course, there are risks. Butler's strong personality, his tendency toward injuries in recent seasons, the advanced age of our core. But as the great Bill Walsh once said, the greatest risk is not taking any risk. If this deal goes through, we'll be witnessing the next chapter in one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. One last hurrah for our legendary core, with one more piece that could be the difference between early retirement and a few more banners at Chase Center. So Warriors Nation, what do you think about this possibility? Is Butler the missing piece, or would you prefer a different approach? Drop your comments below and don't forget to hit that like button so this video reaches more Warriors fans. For exclusive information and in-depth analysis on our favorite franchise, keep following Golden State Hoops. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow us on social media for real-time updates. See you in the next video, and remember, strength in numbers.